There's someone in my life who I owe a special apology to. I'm talking about someone who I really loved and lost because I screwed it all up.
I think the biggest problem I had this year, even with him and on his side, is identity.
You're not ready for this because what's exploding across social media right now? It's not just another celebrity breakup rumor, it's a direct hit to the image Justin Bieber has been curating for years. A track titled "She'll Always Be My Muse" has allegedly dropped, and the world is going feral. Not just because it's raw, not just because it's emotional, but because it's aimed straight at Selena Gomez, his ex, his past, his supposed muse. But wait, he's married to Hailey, with a baby, living what everyone thought was the happily ever after life. So why, now, would a track like this leak? Is it real? Is it a troll? Is it a hidden message? Or worse, is it a confession he didn't mean for the world to decode? Because if this song is real, and if that lyric, "She'll always be my muse," is actually from Justin, then we're not just talking about drama. We're talking about an earthquake under a marriage, a legacy, a whole identity. Buckle up. We're pulling apart the headlines, the fan wars, and the silent signals no one's brave enough to interpret. This isn't just gossip, this is a reckoning. And it starts with a lyric that just might unravel everything. According to a wave of viral posts and enough entertainment leaks to drown a PR team, Justin Bieber allegedly dropped a song calling Selena Gomez his muse. The title, "She'll Always Be My Muse." The vibe, a raw, emotional ballad reflecting on their chaotic, decade-long roller coaster of a relationship from 2010 to 2018. But it's not the song's structure or melody that's blowing up timelines. It's one line, just one. "She'll always be my muse." Fans are obsessed. Critics are enraged. Stans are triggered. And everyone, literally everyone, is spiraling. Another lyric that's causing mayhem? A chapter that never closed. It's like emotional dynamite wrapped in acoustic chords. And if you think people are overreacting, just wait. Because remember, Justin isn't some single, nostalgic pop prince anymore. He's married to Hailey Baldwin since 2018. And as of August 2024, he's a father. So what happens when a husband and new dad publicly calls his ex his eternal muse? You already know, chaos. The track's rumored style mirrors Justin's Justice, 2021, and Change's 2020 albums that stripped down, emotional, introspective sound that makes you feel like you're reading his diary with the door cracked open. And the internet? It's combusting. The reactions? Absolutely unhinged, in every direction. On one side, Team Bieber stans are in full meltdown mode, but in the best way. Justin pouring his heart out about Selena is everything. One fan commented, "You can tell she still means a lot to him." Respect. They're calling it vulnerable. They're calling it real. They're calling it art, but scroll a little deeper. And the tone shifts. Fast, critics are accusing Justin of crossing a sacred boundary. Calling your ex your muse while married? That's not art. That's disrespect. One furious fan posted, "Let the past stay in the past." And honestly, it's hard to argue with the emotional landmines this kind of track would explode in any marriage, let alone one under a global spotlight. But it's not just Hailey fans who are rattled. Selena's fandom is split right down the middle. Some say this proves her lasting influence, a poetic nod to how deeply she shaped Justin's creative soul. Others, not buying it. Selena doesn't need this. She's thriving. Justin's the one stuck in 2015, one stan snapped. The message is clear. They're protective. And they're done with recycled heartbreak being monetized. But just when you thought the drama couldn't twist harder, it does. Because guess who's reportedly involved in the production of this track? Benny Blanco. Yes, that Benny. The one, currently engaged to Selena Gomez. The same Benny who publicly called Selena the best thing that ever happened to him. The same Benny who's been crafting music with Selena. Not about her. So now the internet's spiraling in a whole new direction. Did Selena know? Did she approve this behind the scenes? Or is Benny just out here making moody ballads with his fiance's ex-boyfriend like it's a casual Tuesday? Some fans are calling it poetic irony. Others are calling it betrayal, wrapped in a beat. Whatever it is, it's complicated, and it's viral. Because when you mix music, exes, and overlapping relationships, you don't just get headlines, you get cultural combustion. And the tabloids, they're loving every second of it. The media, oh, they saw the fire and brought gasoline, TMZ'd, Page 6, and every chaos-thirsty headline machine started pumping. Out stories like confetti at a scandal parade rekindled feelings. Trouble in Bieber paradise? Selena, the muse who won't let go. Even the more respectable outlets, Billboard, Rolling Stone, couldn't resist. Sure, they dressed it up in artistic context and songwriting analysis. But let's be honest, they were still feeding the frenzy. Because here's the truth. The second a lyric suggests heartbreak, the world forgets there are real people behind the melody. And as the narrative spirals, it stops being about music. It becomes a war of interpretation. Fans aren't just decoding lyrics anymore. They're tracking likes, outfit choices, facial expressions, breath patterns. Every gesture becomes evidence. Every silence becomes a statement, and neither Justin nor Selena has said a word, which, in this digital arena, only makes the screaming louder. But while the internet is throwing a collective tantrum, one voice remains eerily absent. Hailey, Baldwin Bieber, Justin's wife, his partner, the mother of his child. And yet, she hasn't said a word, no comment, no repost. Not even a passive like, fans noticed. Fast. And when you're married to someone who allegedly just called their ex their forever muse, silence isn't neutral. It's a message. Some see it as quiet heartbreak. Others see it as strength, a refusal to dignify the drama. But theories are flying. Is she hurt, furious, or does she already know something the rest of us don't? Meanwhile, defenders of Justin are doubling down. It's just art. Artists pull from their past. This doesn't mean anything about his marriage. Maybe they're right, or maybe this song just cracked open a truth his PR team wasn't ready for. And fans, they're not letting it go. And this is where it gets messy. Because beneath the headlines and hashtags, a bigger conversation is erupting. Where's the line between artistic truth and personal betrayal? When an artist like Justin draws from his past? Is it creative expression or emotional sabotage? Team artistic freedom is loud. He's allowed to reflect. Great music comes from real pain. You can't censor art just because it makes people uncomfortable, but the critics, even louder. This isn't about music, it's about boundaries. How long does Hailey have to be haunted by someone she didn't marry? You don't get to romanticize your past at the cost of your present. And in the middle of it all, Selena, silent, powerful, untouched. Whether she sees this as flattery or emotional exploitation, she hasn't said, but the silence, it's louder than any verse. But here's where the whole story collapses like a house of cards. Because after hours of digging, triple-checking sources, and scouring every music database we could find, there's a twist no one saw coming. The song doesn't exist. That's right, She'll Always Be My Muse, the track that sparked fan wars, think pieces, and possibly a marriage crisis, is a ghost, a rumor, a full-blown internet hallucination. Let that sink in. No verified release, no streaming link, no confirmed lyrics, nothing. The only thing even remotely close, a brief, vague Instagram snippet from earlier this year, Justin mumbling something about sun on his skin and a Birkin bag. Nothing about muses, nothing about Selena, nothing even remotely resembling the emotional bomb the internet swore he dropped, which means this entire storm was built on a lie. And yet, the damage is real. The reactions were real. The tension, still boiling. So now the question becomes, where did this rumor start? And who lit the match? So if Justin never dropped a track about Selena, where did all this emotional wreckage come from? Turns out the answer might be hiding in plain sight. Because in March 2025, Selena Gomez released her latest album, I Said I Love You First. Quizá, title already laced with confrontation, but it's what's inside that hit like a lyrical bomb. Tracks like How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten and You Said You Were Sorry are drenched in raw, cutting emotion. One lyric in particular hit different. Go cry where no one's watching. How does it feel to be forgotten? Fans immediately started decoding. Is she throwing shade at Justin? Is this her final word? Another lyric? A gut punch reply to Bieber's 2015 hit, Sorry. I had a dream. You said you were sorry. Sorry for everything you put on me? No names were mentioned. But The implications? Brutal. And suddenly, it all made sense. The viral Muse rumor didn't start with Justin's music. It started with Selena's. The internet just got the players and the narrative completely backwards. But now that the truth's on the table, we need to ask, why did we fall for the wrong story so easily? This wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was a full-blown collective delusion. And the scariest part? It felt real. People weren't reacting to some vague rumor or throwaway tweet. They were emotionally detonating over a story that never existed. Why? Because it fit. Because it echoed everything fans wanted to believe about Justin and Selena's unresolved history. Because they were starving for closure, and the internet handed them a ghost wrapped in poetry. The Muse track didn't need to be real. It just needed to feel real. And that was enough to make millions believe it was. What started as whispers became gospel. Memes exploded. Threads unraveled. Entire TikTok think pieces were built around shadows. And suddenly, the world was dissecting a marriage, romanticizing a breakup, and projecting their own unresolved baggage onto two people who hadn't spoken about each other in years. This wasn't about music anymore. This was fan fiction masquerading, as journalism and social media ate it up like gospel. One song, one rumor, one false memory. And suddenly, an entire generation was back inside a love story that ended nearly a decade ago. To understand why this fake song lit the internet on fire, you have to understand the legend of Justin and Selena. Because Gelina wasn't just a couple, it was an era. It was the soundtrack to an entire generation's coming-of-age story. Their love felt like a teenage fever dream, messy and magical and maddening. From 2010 to 2018, they didn't just date. They unraveled in front of the world. Breakups, makeups, leaked lyrics, public feuds, Instagram explosions. Every chapter was public, and every fan felt like they were part of it. You weren't just watching, you were inside the story, heart first. And what made it unforgettable wasn't just the romance. It was the rawness, the chaos, the way they mirrored the uncertainty in all of us. One moment they were at the Vanity Fair Oscars party looking like royalty. The next, they were dropping cryptic quotes on social media, leaving fans spiraling. Who hurt who? Who moved on first? Who really let go? Their love story became a mirror for everyone who's ever had a toxic connection they couldn't quite quit. So, when whispers of a muse resurfaced, real or not, it cracked open that emotional vault. People didn't need proof. They needed a feeling, and Jelena always delivered exactly that. The truth is, both of them moved on. Publicly. Privately, permanently. Justin Bieber married Hailey Baldwin in 2018 and started a new chapter, fast and unapologetically. Fatherhood, faith, family. In interviews and Instagram posts, he's called Hailey the best thing that's ever happened to him. And yet, no matter how loud he declared that love, the shadows of his past relationship with Selena never stopped trailing him. Because the internet doesn't just document breakups, it preserves them. Like fossils, like artifacts of a love. People never emotionally released. Selena, on the other hand, took a different path. Slower, quieter, more internal. She didn't rush into a new marriage. She rebuilt. She healed in silence. She created rare beauty. She earned Emmy nominations. She made music that sounded less like pop and more like a journal entry set to melody. Her 2019 hit Lose You to Love Me wasn't just a chart topper. It was a eulogy, a funeral for a version of herself that had finally let go. And still, the fans held on, because it was never just about Justin and Selena, it was about us. Our need for closure, our fear of letting go, our obsession with watching pain become poetry. That's why this fake song hit like truth, because even though they moved on, we didn't. One of the wildest parts of this entire saga, there's no real feud. Not between Hailey and Selena, not between Madison and Hailey. The so-called rivalry is a story we, the audience, wrote, not them. Back in 2022, Hailey went on a podcast and shut it down completely. No drama, no beef, just mutual respect. In fact, she said she'd even spoken to Selena since marrying Justin. And Selena? She's defended Hailey publicly, even after her own fanbase attacked Madison Beer over a dinner coincidence. Still, the narrative refuses to die. Because it's not built on fact, it's built on projection. Fan bases have taken ownership of these women's lives, identities, and choices, turning them into avatars for our own insecurities. Hailey becomes the villain in the love triangle myth. Selena becomes the wounded romantic icon. Madison becomes the disruptor. But none of it holds up under scrutiny. These are grown women building brands, raising families, making art. And yet, every comment they post, every like they give, every silence they choose is dissected like a betrayal. Why? Because fans aren't really watching them. They're watching their own unresolved narratives play out on a celebrity stage. This isn't celebrity drama. It's cultural self-projection disguised as tea. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. This obsession isn't about Justin, Selena, or Hailey. It's about us, about what we've projected onto them, about how parasocial relationships blur reality. Fans didn't just follow their careers, they emotionally attached themselves to their love stories. For many, Gelina was the first epic romance they witnessed in real time, growing up right alongside it. So when it ended without a clean resolution, it left an open wound. No grand finale, no closure, just a jarring shift into marriage with someone new. And that lack of closure has haunted fans more than it haunted the people involved. We craved a satisfying third act, a reunion, a redemptive heartbreak ballad. Something, anything. So when a false rumor whispered, "She's still his muse," the emotional door creaked open again, and people walked through it. Not because it was true, but because they wanted it to be. The internet became an echo chamber of heartbreak fantasy. Each like, each repost, each comment amplified a reality that never existed. The deeper you believed it, the more the algorithm fed it to you. And before you knew it, fiction had replaced fact, and we were all too emotionally invested to care. Here's the cold commercial reality. The truth doesn't go viral, drama does. The moment that Muse rumors started trending, the media didn't pause to fact check. They paused to monetize. Articles were pushed, ads were sold, engagement surged, and nobody asked if the song was real. Because it didn't matter. The idea of it was profitable. Whether it was TMZ spinning headlines about a love triangle, or YouTube thumbnails showing Selena in tears and Hailey in rage, the message was the same. Keep watching, keep clicking, keep spiraling. Even the legit outlets joined the party. Rolling Stone and Billboard dressed it up in language like artistic analysis and fan speculation, but they knew what they were doing. Feeding the machine. Because in this game, virality is currency, accuracy is optional, and controversy is gold. The internet doesn't reward caution, it rewards chaos. Once the narrative gains traction, everyone wants a slice. Facts get edited, quotes get misattributed, screenshots get cropped, and by the time the truth catches up, it's irrelevant. The lie has already become the legend. In today's culture, it doesn't take much. Not a song, not even a quote. Just one comment, one emoji, and the machine kicks into overdrive. When Justin left a simple HBD on Madison Beer's birthday post, it should have been a non-event. A blink, a scroll past moment. But in the algorithm's hands and the fans' imaginations, it became something else entirely. Suddenly, people were dissecting the heart eyes emoji like it was Morse code. Is he flirting? Is this a dig at Hailey? Why isn't he using those emojis on his wife's posts? The questions weren't based on facts, they were based on feelings. And when feelings become content, the line between reality and speculation disappears. Likes, unlikes, story views, even the absence of interaction, it all gets analyzed like courtroom evidence. One unfollow becomes a declaration, one silence becomes guilt. The emotional microscope zooms in so far that the picture blurs. And the worst part? The algorithm loves it. The more polarized, angry, or obsessed the reaction, the more it pushes that content. Your For You page becomes an echo chamber of paranoia dressed as proof. And soon, the only thing louder than the rumor is the confirmation bias keeping it alive. What's wild is how little control these celebrities actually have over the narratives that define them. Justin rarely addresses rumors directly. He lets the storm pass, stays silent, but that silence, it doesn't protect him. It gets interpreted, warped. His recent behavior at Coachella, dancing shirtless, looking dazed, sparked drug rumors instantly. His team rushed out a denial, but the speculation had already gone viral. And for someone trying to rebrand as a present, grounded father, That kind of noise is lethal. His fame no longer belongs to him. It belongs to the narrative. Hailey's approach is different. She confronts. When divorce rumors exploded on TikTok in early 2024, she jumped on Instagram to shut them down directly. 100% of the stories you're seeing are made up, from the land of delusion. That's the voice of someone exhausted, someone who's watched her character get shredded by strangers who've never met her. And Madison, she tries to rise above, focus on her art, ignore the mess. But even she's cracked. In an interview, her voice trembling, she said, "It hurts so much to start doubting your own reality." That wasn't about drama. That was about mental survival in an ecosystem that eats people alive just for existing. Here's the part we rarely admit. The drama isn't just entertainment. It's escapism. It's something we consume, not just with curiosity, but with need. Watching Selena versus Hailey or speculating about Justin and Madison isn't just fun. It's emotional outsourcing. It lets us process our own betrayal, our own heartbreak, our own longing, without ever having to face it head on. We latch onto celebrity conflict because it gives shape to feelings we haven't named yet, feelings we're scared to feel in, our real lives. So we pick sides. We scream in the comments. We ride or die for people we've never met because it feels like a form of control. And this isn't just about gossip, it's about identity. Entire online communities define themselves by who they defend and who they cancel. There are Reddit threads that label Hailey a homewrecker, a stalker, a clone, and no amount of evidence will change their minds. There are fan accounts that treat Selena like a goddess and erase every mistake she's ever made. This isn't fandom, this is tribalism. We don't want nuance. We want villains, we want heroes, we want a war. Because as long as the fight stays online, we don't have to confront the conflicts inside ourselves. The real story isn't between the celebrities, it's in the comment sections. The projection, the rage, the need to believe in something. Even if it's fake, it's not just emotional, it's engineered. Everything you see, every headline, every rumor, every perfectly timed leak, it's all designed to keep you watching. The algorithm doesn't care about truth, it cares about engagement. And what drives engagement faster than anything else? Outrage, jealousy, suspicion. So when a TikTok series accused Hailey of copying Selena for a decade straight, racked up millions of views, and sparked trending hashtags, it didn't matter if it was true. It worked. It pulled eyes. It triggered emotion. And that emotion became monetizable. More views, more comments, more ads. Drama doesn't need receipts. It needs reach. The system isn't broken. It's performing exactly as designed. Platforms reward controversy because it keeps you scrolling. Creators push baseless theories because accuracy doesn't trend. Fire does. Media sites republish fan speculation. With clickbait titles like Selena shades Justin, even when the article quietly admits there's no actual proof. By the time you've read that far, they've already won. You clicked, you stayed, you fed the machine. And it's not just damaging for the celebrities, it's corrosive for us. Because we start craving that emotional high, that next scandal, that new villain. And the more we consume it, the harder it gets to feel anything real. Strip away the drama, the edits, the conspiracies, and what you'll find is 3 people quietly building lives that look nothing like the narratives forced onto them. Justin Bieber is no longer the wild child on the brink of a breakdown. He's a husband, a father, a man trying, and sometimes struggling, to rewrite what adulthood means after being famous too young, too fast. His music slowed, his presence softened, his priorities shifted. Yes, he still dances shirtless at Coachella and sparks debate, but behind that is a guy trying to hold a marriage together while the world clings to his ex like a ghost he can't shake. Selena Gomez? She's more than the muse people keep casting her as. She's a powerhouse, a CEO, an actress, producer, and Grammy-nominated artist who built an empire from vulnerability. Her relationship with Benny Blanco is low-key, grounded, and full of private victories the internet will never fully see. And maybe that's the point. She's finally writing her own story, not reacting to someone else's. Hailey? She's building a skincare empire while navigating motherhood in the public eye. And no matter how much the internet tries to cast her as the outsider, she's proven she's not a placeholder. She's a partner, a protector, a woman who's withstanding storms most of us couldn't survive. So what's the real story here? It's not about a leaked track, not about emojis or engagement rings or dinner sightings at Craig's. The real story is this. There was never a story, just echoes, just fragments, just a digital ghost built from nostalgia and distraction. The Muse rumor didn't reveal anything about Justin or Selena. It revealed us, our hunger for drama, our resistance to closure, our addiction to unfinished endings. We didn't need the song to exist. We just needed it to feel like it could. Because that meant the past wasn't really gone. That somewhere, someone still hadn't moved on. And neither had we. But the truth? They did. Justin moved forward. Selena moved inward. Haley held her ground. Madison built her own name. And while the internet still screams about a triangle that no longer exists, these people are building futures outside the frame. Maybe it's time we did the same. Maybe it's time we let go of stories that don't belong to us. Maybe the drama isn't theirs anymore. Maybe it's ours. And maybe, just maybe, the Muse was never a person. Maybe it was the illusion. And now, it's time to stop chasing it.